Hey everybody, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Ready Set Crypto. Today is Wednesday, the 8th of November. Welcome aboard everybody. Join the crowd here. Let us know where you are joining us from. Where on this planet are you coming in from? And eventually, as we get into things here, what I'm going to ask you guys for is what coin pairs do you want to see? That's what this session is all about. For about the next half hour or so, we're only going to be looking at crypto charts. Well, sometimes we look at stock charts, sometimes we look at other things that are related to crypto, but this is all about trying to understand what the market is telling us about the state of the crypto market. We've been dealing with the bear market since really the last 2 years. Since November of 21, we've been in this nasty downtrend. Although I have to say that since the beginning of 23, we've started to see these green shoots, and we're starting to see now about 3 to 4 weeks of straight upside, which is breaking from a consolidation. So things are looking really, really good right now. I think this is a very early part of the next cycle. We are very, very early into the next cycle. So you guys are coming in at the right time. Unless you're an OG, or if you're brand new, it doesn't really matter. We go through cycles all the time. The whole game is understanding when to get in, when to get out, and when to sit to the sideline. All right. So who do we have here today? We have Mohammed from London. I'm going to park myself down into the corner here as we look at charts. And let's see. We got Ray coming in from Simpsonville, just south of me here in beautiful downtown Greenville. And let's see, we got DeWold coming in from Salzburg, Austria. And we have Jack from Darwin. Good to see you all the way. Hey, Doug. Let's see, would like your views on Sari if possible. Hey, Tig, how you doing? Good to see you again. Tig coming in from, let's see. Tig, I've already forgotten where what city is closest to you. I've forgotten where you're coming in from. So let us know what city you're coming in from. Say hi to everybody else. All right. So let's look at Bitcoin here. Well, I know it's in Ireland. I just don't know what town that you're closest to, whether it's Dublin or somewhere else. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so it is Dublin. All right, fantastic. So I'm looking here at Bitcoin, and we've seen this transition into I did this again. I got to get my magic pen out of here. Okay, hang on a second, guys. I'm one of these people that has to talk with their hands. And we'll get this thing going here. Okay, so what we've seen is since, this will shut off in a minute here. What we've seen since we got into early 23, and this really spiked right around the FTX debacle, was down here. We started making higher highs and higher lows. And this is what always happens, is that it takes a disaster. Like the last time we had a serious low was in March of 2020 in the pandemic. A serious disaster always gets people to flush themselves out. And this is where people are coming in from. All right, Tyler, what's up? Hey, Fabian, how you doing? Ray, we'll get to XRP. Absolutely, sir. All right, so what we're looking at here is volume profile. So we've had a lot of volume down in these areas, right? This is actually the point of control down here at about 17,000 for the past year or so. But what I want to call your attention to is these areas here. This is what we talked about before. We said, hey, if the price is able to get above 32,000, it should run, because there's an air pocket here, and the next high volume node is just a little bit below 40,000. So that's around 38,000, which is almost there. So what you find is that we have these areas. Let's draw this over here where there's a lot of volume here, and this is why it lands up like this. So this is going to be overhead resistance probably at 38 to 40,000 in the meantime. However, this is also going to be support down here. So what we might see in the near future is we might see either a drop down to 32, or we might just see this thing continue to run up here. Now, going down to the daily chart, you can see this. And the thing I like about this is we now have a fully charged up chart. Look at that. So range expansion goes to exhaustion, goes to range contraction. And there's normally three types of consolidation that I see. The most common is sideways. Also, we see a price going down like this. So typically what I see from these is downward, sideways to downward. And the other way that this can go, and the most rare, is where the price just keeps on chugging here. It goes so very slowly, but I only see this in the most bullish types of markets. Now keep in mind that we have not been able to see, Bitcoin has not been able to sustain any kind of a breakout throughout this year. Every time we have some type of a breakout, we end up flushing down, and then we go higher from there. Every time we try to break out, it fails, we end up flushing down, and then it goes higher from here. So will this one be different? Will this one be different? Is this just going to just keep on chugging up to 38,000 and then come down? If it is going to come down, again, that 32,000 level might be something. So the reason I'm telling you guys is if you're looking to accumulate, you might want to put in a good till cancel order down here, a limit order at 32,000 for that. That may be the next discount buy that we have. Okay, so that's crypto. I will go over whatever coins that you guys want to look at. The first one is coming in from Mohammed. Let's see, is anybody else? We got Willie coming in from the Netherlands. We got Slick Rick here. We got Ed coming in from Chicago. We got, let's see, Entheo Sapien, Brooklyn. Forget about it. Carvana stock for fun. Okay, maybe we'll get there. All right, so we got about 20 minutes to go here. So let's see if I can speed things up for you all. Okay, so the first one you want to look at is SARE. And we're going to look at Siri Network versus USDT. All right. Now, when I look at stuff like this, what I want to see is something. Boy, is this thing cheap. Whew. I want to see coins. Now, we're still very, very early into this whole cycle, right? So eventually, later on in the cycle, you will see everything pulled up like through a gravitational force, almost like the moon makes the tides run here on Earth. You'll see the same kind of thing. I mean, Bitcoin will end up, blasting forth, and it's going to bring a lot of new money into the space, and then people are going to say, oh, Bitcoin's at 100,000. Oh, that's too expensive. I want to go after some altcoins. And so we always have this sort of residual gravitational effect. Right now, this is not hitting, I don't know how you pronounce this, Siri. This is not hitting Siri at all. Even though there's some good volume coming in here, this thing is still below the 200-day moving average in green. And as that being that is still in a void for me. If you need perspective, go out to the weekly chart and you can see where it stands. I would wait until you get a weekly uptrend where you start to see the weekly chart going higher lows, higher highs like this. Then that's your signal to start accumulation. Okay, so that's Siri Network. Let's see. Ray from Simpsonville, near the Harambe Memorial Bridge, wants to look at XRP. XRP has been awesome lately. So, well, right. Everything is relative. If we go out to the weekly chart, we can still see that this thing is trying to recover and go after those 21 highs. But on a relative basis here, things are looking really, really good. Now, I talked about this one for a long time, being that this is kind of the basing pattern, although you could make a case that this is an ascending triangle from here. Let me draw just, oh, come on. Why do they do this to me? Everybody's been griping about TradingView lately. So this is almost an ascending triangle here. An ascending triangle, and the way you want to look at this is through this open end of the triangle, this distance in price. And if we lay that out, is basically about what we've done here. So the forward projection is the open end of the triangle. And I would say that Ripple has gotten very, very close to fulfilling its prophecy for this chart pattern. Now, what we want to see from this point is we'd want to see a high and tight flag up here. This would be very bullish. This would allow this thing to breathe. I do not want to see this go all the way back down to retest the breakout at 55. We've done that before. That doesn't work. You don't want to see it go all the way down and retest that. That would be okay if it was just marginally above that, a retest like this. But going down to retest 55, I would say it would be an instant sell for this one. So I want to see this flag out and then see if we can sustain a move from there. That's on XRP. The Ripple Army is happy these days. Okay, Slick Rick wants to look at NAKA, Nakamoto Games versus Tether. Wow, look at this thing go. I'm going to mark this one down. This looks good. Okay. What's not to like here on this one? What's not to like? Now, let's go out to, before we get too excited, let's look at the weekly chart and let's get some perspective on this one. All right, so this one came out November 21 with the highs of everything else. So it's been in purgatory ever since that point. Just like everything else, this is the basing that all these charts go through. We did this back in 19 and 20, 18, 19, and 20. We built these bases out, and then in 20 and 21, they ripped. So this is now showing, if we look at the weekly chart, higher highs and higher lows. This is awesome. Okay, looking good. Now, I would never chase after a move like this. Don't chase after a move like this. If we go out to the daily chart, if we look at the RSI, we're looking at exhaustion here. What I would expect to see from this point is maybe some high and tight flags, right? So consolidation setting up very much like this. Now, notice what this one did. Okay, when we got to exhaustion, it built up just enough energy, almost a small ascending triangle pattern. Look what happened here. Same thing, right? This has been going since September. This has been going into this range expansion, range contraction mode. So in a way, this is sort of stair-stepping higher, and this is sort of the linearity that you want to look for. This is the linearity that you want to look for in the markets, okay? So this one looks good. It's made the transition. So now it's just a matter of picking an intelligent buy point if you're going to make this a swing trade or starting the process of dollar cost averaging. Okay, let's see. Next one we're looking at here is Caspa. I think we looked at this one a couple weeks ago. And this one looks really good. Boy, look at this is another ascending triangle pattern. This is really good. Look at this one here. So this is our upper neckline for this. And then we have this end here. And so the upper measured move target is about this distance here. And the way that we can do this is we can go over to, we can just set up a trend line down to here. All right, so let's make this really fat. And then if we take this to the upper the upper neckline, that is our measured move target for Caspa. So we're almost there. So what you should expect to see is that once it gets up to this level, which is going to be about 8 cents or so, 7.5 to 8 cents, this should flag out at that point. Look at the volume. The volume is all good. So this one looks to be really good. Let's zoom out on this one and let's see how this is doing. This is all good. Look at it. This thing has been terrific. So Caspa, I'm going to mark this one down as well too. One of the best looking charts I have seen. So this one looks good. You just got to be smart about how you get on this train. Let's see. Wonder what Doge will do. I don't know. Doge is just a strange animal because it's just meant to be a meme coin, and really the only thing it's got going for it is Elon Musk has, had its fun. By itself, this doesn't really look all that great. It's still showing a chart which is in lower highs and lower lows. It's just now starting to come out of that. I do have some Dogecoin. I'm not wild about owning it right now. It's cheap. But until there's some intrinsic value in something like this, it's always going to be, this may be the next cycle where we start to get rid of the shit coins that just have no intrinsic value to them. So Dogecoin, I'm somewhat skeptical about whether or not it's going to get anywhere. There's so many better charts. Look at the chart that we just looked at with Caspa. Looks awesome. Okay, CFX would be nice. We'll take a look. All right, let's see. CFX versus Tether. Let's see what this one is doing. This is a weekly chart. And it's still making lower highs and lower lows. So it by itself is not doing great. It's still below the 200-day moving average, which is not tremendous, right? So it's still in lower highs, lower lows. I would wait until this one starts to trend to the upside. It's cheap enough that it's not going to make that much difference. So there are better charts than CFX. Let's see. What is Carvana? Next one is so CVNA. Yow. Okay, they're all kind of related, aren't they? So this Carvana has started to move. It's bounced off the 200-day moving average. So that's got that going for it. But it's also in kind of a weekly downtrend. This is not particularly good, right? Well, the rest of the NASDAQ has been ripping. Carvana is having a difficult time. So if we just look at the Qs right now, the Qs are much stronger than Carvana. This is the overall NASDAQ index right now. And if Carvana's not keeping up with it, money's going to find, it's like water, right? Water and gravity. Money is going to find its way downhill with this. And Carvana right now is underneath. So it's not like it's terrible. I just don't know if the business model is going to work on this one. Okay, next one. Hey, Florida attorney. All right, Ed, we're going to look at Solana. Solana was poisoned for the longest time by the whole FTX thing. And if we zoom out on this, you can see the basing pattern that we've had. Here's the basing pattern. So it's right here. This is all the basing that we've had since November. So for a whole year, this thing has been in the basement, subterranean, and now it's broken above 30 and starting to look good. So that's the zoom out on this. If we go on to the daily chart, this all looks good, right? So when do you get onto something like this? Use the fractals, understand where your energy is, never chase after these things. But notice what's happening here. Range contraction leading to range expansion. Range contraction, range expansion, range contraction. So wait for the next level where we have, full energy up to here. And that'll be your next buy point or a pullback. Slick Rick is asking, is there going to be a pullback? Well, let me see. Let me consult my... You know what? I don't know. I mean, a lot of people in this business, they get a lot of clicks and they get a lot of attention because they're out there predicting the future. And quite honestly, they don't know what the F they're talking about. Nobody knows what's going to happen tomorrow. Nobody does. Now, the way that you use technical analysis is not to predict the future. The way you use technical analysis is to build a framework around when you want to buy, when you want to sell, when something is being accumulated, or when something is being distributed. So that's what that's for. But right now, what I would say is fundamentally, we're still very early in the cycle, and you're going to see pullbacks. So if you want to see pullbacks, I mean, if you're looking for just BTC itself, right now, I would say if you get a pullback to 32, I would say that's probably going to be a good point to buy, even though there's no guarantees it would stop at that point. But there is an awful lot of support down there based on what we talked about with the volume profile, right? So volume profile shows that there's an awful lot of buying support down here just south of 32, like this. So this could pull back through this area, right? When you blast up through there, that doesn't provide any support. So support comes where the volume trades. If we get down to 32, I think there will be some buying interest down there. So again, I don't know if it's going to come down to 32. You know, I'd said for the longest time that I thought that we'd probably go down to 22, but it looks like we're gone from that. So again, trying to predict the future, I think, in this business will get you crushed. It's not the way to do it, because what that does is if you predict the future, then you're going to align everything. You're going to have such confirmation bias about everything that you do that you'll be blind to what's actually happening in the markets. So that's kind of my two cents on that one. Is I don't know if it's going to pull back, but if it does, 32 should be strong. All right, let's see, what else do we got? Hey, can we look at Dero? All right, let's do this. I'm going to go really quick here. Let's go over to crypto, Dero versus the USDT. This one's starting to wake up. All right, starting to wake up. It's getting the initial excitement. This is not an uptrend yet. This is just a swing to the upside. I would wait until this thing puts in a higher low, higher high combination. This is what that looks like. So this to me is not a buy. This to me is something that's coming up to a trend line. So I'd wait for higher low, higher high combination, change in polarity to the upside. Monero, let's look at Monero. What's happening with Monero? Monero is in this impossibly long triangle right now, and you can see the volume profile has been massive. If and when this thing breaks, we should get a move up to about 275. So this will be strong. Again, the same kind of thing here happens. Like the open end of this triangle is essentially the measured move for this. So I would say 275 would be a reasonable projection for this if it's able to break out above there. XLM, let's look at Stellar Lumens. This one, again, has been an underperformer. It has put in a relative low, but it's really lagging the rest of the market. So watch this one. If it's able to get above 20 cents, then I'd be interested in it. Right now, I'm not. There's so many better charts that are out there. This one has been a underperformer still. Oh, good Lord. I hate it when people do that. Come on. I mean, seriously, who makes phone calls anymore? Good grief. It's only a telemarketer, right? The only person that's going to call you is a telemarketer or your dentist to remind you that you have an appointment, and they're all going to be automated anyway. So why bother picking up the phone? I little story here. 2 weeks ago, somebody called me up claiming that they were from Coinbase and that there was somebody attacking my account, and they wanted my permission to lock my account. And it turned out it was a scam call. Very, very dangerous. I don't know how they got my number, but there you go. Not your keys, not your cheese, guys. Okay, so let's see. Next one is Link. Let's look at Chainlink. Chainlink has been a rock star today. Chainlink is a rock star over the last 4 months. Look at the volume coming into this thing. Look at this. It's the same pattern, guys. We've been talking about this forever. I'm saying basing. Yeah. Right? And finally, off she goes. Big move. All right? So don't chase after this. Have your point where you're going to enter. Range contraction leading to range expansion. Most of the time, these flags will show up about halfway through a move. So right now, I would say that this one is highly likely to flag out at this point and may go down as far as 12, but that would be it. That would be it. That's the best you can hope for at this point, is a pullback to 12. All right, that's Chainlink. Let's look at Hex. Boy, you guys are active today. Awesome. It's great to see everybody back. Let's look at Hex. I don't like it. It's just not going over, right? It's still in a pretty serious downtrend here. Pretty serious downtrend. And until this thing starts putting in higher highs and higher lows, there are better charts than that. Okay, Sparrowhawk. Hey, we looked at Chainlink. Could you maybe do Tau? Okay, look at that go. That's a weekly chart. Man, this thing like exploded out of nowhere. Okay, I don't know the reason for it. I rarely do. This thing is not that old. It only goes back to the spring, but big explosion here as it got above 95. So this is bit sensor. Okay, strong move above 95. Now, again, I don't like to chase after these when they're in exhaustion like this. I would want to see this thing set up, flag out, maybe, just maybe, come back down and retest this from above. And that would be a good buy point on this, but great looking chart. Hilo, Hilo. We get in about 2 minutes here. I'm going to get the market bell. So you're going to hear a bang, 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 bang. Market bell's going to ring. Okay, I don't know if I'm looking at the right short. I don't have enough on Hilo. I don't have enough data to look at this one with anything. There's just not enough data here, unless there's a different place to do. Hey, Gokay from Istanbul. Good to see you. All right, ARB. Let's look at ARB. So I'm just warning you guys, it's going to be loud. Okay, ARB. Let's see what ARB is doing here. ARB is still, it's relatively new. It's since the spring, and it's still in a weekly downtrend. So what I would say for this one is wait until this one is able to break this downtrend with some form of higher low, higher high. You know, let it play out. Let it figure out where its bottom is for right now. Cardano up to the sky. All right, let's look at Cardano here really quick. Cardano's actually had a pretty good week. Now, this one's still in bad shape. This weekly downtrend is still keeping things contained. But if it's able to break above here, right, if it's able to break above this, then it's releasing itself from the basing. So watch that for Cardano, and the volume's starting to increase. So this one may be getting there fairly soon. Okay, so anybody have any final requests here? I think I've gotten through everything, unless I've missed something for somebody. Want to thank you guys for joining me here today on a Wednesday afternoon. And don't forget, if you guys looking for any kind of assistance, if you're looking for tools to analyze the crypto market, come check me out, readysetcrypto.ONE. readysetcrypto.ONE. Do I have a specific... There we go. There's the bell. Do I have a specific schedule for this live session? I typically do these on Wednesdays. When the market's really, really active, I'll do these once a week. If the market's kind of going nowhere, I'll do these every couple of weeks or so. But you guys are welcome to go interact with me and let me know if there's something you'd like to see. Just shoot me a comment on YouTube or just go onto our site and drop a question. All right. Thanks, everybody. You guys take care. Thanks for joining me here on Hump Day. And I will see you guys in the next session. You guys take care. Be good.